You don't want some help? Hi, I'm Bob Ferguson. I'm here with Jessie Rothacker. Is that how you pronounce it?
Rothacker.
He is the owner, CEO.
So I'm actually the president. It's a non-profit, so I'm not the owner, but I would be the president.
Of Forgotten Friend Reptile Sanctuary or Rescue?
Forgotten Friend Reptile Sanctuary.
And what's your website?
ForgottenFriend.org.
Okay, so we're going to go inside and Jessie's going to be kind enough to show us some of the animals inside and tell us a little bit about what he does. So let's check it out.
All right. You just let him let his arms rest right on you.
So what do we have here? Black and white Tegu?
Yeah. So here's a big Argentine Tegu. You see, he's got his big jowls that he has there.
Come this way where you got the light on you.
Likes to show off his big forked tongue.
How big he is. So that's what I was chasing around in Brazil.
Yeah, he's a little bit enormous. We could measure him and see exactly how big he is, but I think he's probably pushing 5 feet with that tail. 4.5.
How much do you think he weighs?
I don't know. What do you think? You're the one holding him.
You gotta hold him. I can't do it with my shoulder.
What, 15 pounds?
Yeah, that's probably
15-ish?
He's probably 15, 20. And I'm trying to decide what to do for the winter, if I should keep him warm or just drop his temperature.
You would not want to get bit by this guy.
I'm gonna touch its tongue.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is one of our little Savannah Monitors who's adoptable. And he's starting to settle down. He's kind of crazy, but you can see he's not even biting me now, which has changed a lot. He's been biting everything since he came in. So one of the things I like to do to help with shed cycles, to make sure they're hydrated, they're finding their water dishes, is we just give them lukewarm water baths maybe every week or two, just to make sure. And the African monitors, they really seem to like soaking for a long time. So once they get used to it, they really like it. But we'll see how this guy likes it. I have a feeling he'll probably go crazy. All right, we're gonna see how he does. There you go, buddy. So a lot of times once they get used to it, they mellow out and they just want to stay there. Sometimes they'll stay there for an hour, but sometimes they're getting used to it. Takes them a little while to relax.
So we got a not so friendly one right now. Jessie's trying to
Socialize them.
yeah.
Place if you do that, and if that takes up too much of his space, you can break it in half. People can see.
So this is what not gopher tortoise, the sulcata.
Yeah, so the sulcatas they're the main tortoise that we get calls for all the time. So people are getting them like little ping pong balls.
Yeah.
And then, they can reach this size. Probably not in 5 years, certainly in 10 years. Bob, your job doesn't change a ton with social distancing.
So Jessie's been a supporter of my calendar campaign for years now, and I've done some presentations for the Lancaster Herp Society for him too. This was a Snakes with Arms calendar that was one of the best sellers last year. I'll put a link for this year's calendars in the description.
For schools, is a product that will actually outlast, and here it is 4 o'clock and I've been in here working much wider area. Taking care of is almost the easy part. I mean, especially for rescue species, because if people have real difficulty. So I love these guys. This is shaped just like a real python, but it's about the same length as a corn snake, maybe a little smaller.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So this is a wormwood python. Me and this guy have a history. About 3 years ago when I was here, I was holding it and it bit my pinky, this pinky, and had a feeding response and wrapped around my arm. And it wasn't the bite that hurt so bad, it was the bite with the twisting that just twisted and twisted at my pinky. And luckily, Jessie finally got it off after a few different attempts. But man, my pinky was sore for 2 weeks the way this guy twisted it. But all's well that ends well. And you can see we're friends now.
So you can see this is the monitor lizard. We just pulled him out of the bath, and he seems to know the difference between when I have gloves on and when I don't have gloves on. So right now he knows I don't have gloves on, and so he's doing his very best to lay a bite on me. So a lot of lizards and crocodilians, they have about 180-degree bite radius. So you just hold them behind the shoulders. You're for the most part out of there. Now I'm not going to say 100% of the time, but they have that bite response. They sometimes will use it on their own tail, but you can see he has an armored tail. That doesn't hurt him at all. I wouldn't let him hurt himself. But naturally anything touches his tongue, he's going to clamp down. So I'm going to go release him back in his cage and try not to end up the wrong side of this bite. They have a really, really powerful grip with their jaws.
One of Jessie's beautiful Mexican milks. We're not sure if this is Pueblan. No, this is probably Pueblan. Lily's got a really nice Sinaloa milk snake. Hopefully we'll be seeing one of these in the wild someday. Look at these colors, gorgeous. Is this playing with your food or your food playing with you? All right, Jessie's going to attempt something here with the roach.
Okay, so normally our bearded dragons love dubia roaches. This one is not getting eaten. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it from that lizard, and we have another lizard soaking in the tub who loves to eat these. Now I don't know if he's going to eat in the tub. He never has before, but we'll give him a try. Here you go, buddy. Hey.
The sulcata is still making work of his romaine. Here, pick him up. Just grab him, he's fine. What are you doing?
Keeps looking at me weird.
Unwrap him and bring him in the light. Was that you?
Yep.
That was you?
Yep.
All right, come on over here. Come on a little further under the light. Look at that thing. You have to see this rat snake. Probably captive bred, I would assume, but still, it's pretty neat.
This is one of my favorite Reptile Care products. It's called hydrogen dioxide. It's also known as H2O. You can drink it. It's actually good for you. And I use it all the time to add humidity. We use a lot of aspen bedding. It's a real simple, versatile, non-toxic bedding. And so we just spray down a lot of our stuff. Feels good.
All right, so Jessie has some really nice Western hognose. This is a, startled me. This is a very nice female. She's got that beautiful black and orange belly. You hear her hissing, doing the hognose hiss. She actually looks like she might be going into a shed cycle. Got the cloudy eyes. Nice upturned nose. More prominent than our Easterns maybe. Her head actually looks a little bit more like a Simus, which is Southern hognose. Shaped kind of the same. Even better hissing right in the camera. I know her one eye just looks cloudy. Okay. Now Lily's got a little albino Western hognose. It's like glowing in here under these lights. So that tank Jessie's just misting down right now took him about a good 30 seconds in this tank to find this animal, this Kenyan sandboa, because that's all they do is burrow. Really cool snakes. But I want you to check out his eyes. See how his eyes are situated on the top of his head? That's probably so he can sit under the sand with just eyes exposed and see what's going on and do whatever snaky things he's thinking about doing. Check this guy out, how white he is. This is a white black rat snake. Let's see if I can get him out. I'm gonna have to put the phone down for a second. Not the typical black rat you see. And Jessie was just telling me a story about how they found it in a backyard here in his home county. So I'm sure it's a pet, but nobody knows for sure because it was out in the wild. All right, Lily is getting tangled up with this white black rat. I wanted you to show me his belly, but this is cool. Here, see if we let him. Look at this belly.
Come on.
Amazing.
Girl.
Oh.
Yeah, let's see where he goes. What?
It tickled. Oh.
Lily's still having a good time with this white black rat.
All right, guys, this next one we're gonna see comes from an owner outside Philadelphia, was moving out of state, and he couldn't take his reptiles with him. And so he has this snake here that was sold to him as a dwarf retic. For those of you guys who know about dwarf species, there are some island localities that are sometimes much smaller than the mainland localities. So the idea with the dwarf retic is that instead of it growing to be 20 or 30 feet, it should stop around 8 or 12 feet. Now we've had this thing for a couple of years, it keeps growing, it's not looking like a dwarf. I'm not a retic expert, so I'm wondering, those of you guys who know retics, take a look at this, tell us if you think this is a dwarf or if this is a normal retic, because it's not looking very dwarf-like anymore. There you go. Starting to feel like a normal size male reticulated python. We're gonna try to stretch them out for you to give you an idea. Here we go. If this is as big as he ever gets, maybe he's a dwarf. But I'm curious what you guys think out there. Those of you guys who know retics, is this dwarf size for a male, or is this normal size for a male? Do you think he's gonna get 5 or 10 feet bigger, or do you think this is about where he's gonna end up? I don't know. Let us know what you think in the comments.
Yeah, please leave it in the comments for me. I'm curious.
Oh, that's what I wanted you to do. So this is feeding response.
So there's Lily with it. Try and lift him up so I can see his head. Just that part of him's heavy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is a really nice looking carpet python. I'm gonna see if I can get out with one arm. So there he is, gorgeous. Look at that big fat head. Lily's turn with the carpet python. Here, show his head to the camera a little.
I don't know where it is.
Let's kind of work it.
Oh.
Okay, we'll do this. Look at that pattern. Gorgeous. So this is the big Bella Constrictor. How old do you think this one is? Any idea?
10 or 20. Yeah, I believe on the older side.
It's pretty heavy. Look at that big head.
I love following the pattern of the head right through the eye too.
Yeah, that's cool. See what he's saying? Can you get close to the eye? You can see like the little black streak right through the eye. Having a hard time here holding it, but got it. Okay. You want to try holding it? All right, Lily's going to attempt to pick up the Bella. You don't want some help? Back up a little bit so I can get it all in the frame. Typical teenager, still playing with the phone with a 40-pound snake on her.
So when I get back from a school assembly, I have all these heavy reptiles I have to put away, and I have to do this hundreds of times every year. So you saw how Bob and Lily were struggling with a snake. That's why I always let my big snakes put themselves away. You just get the head started like that. Sometimes you tickle the tail a little bit, but this is all I do. I don't have to lift them into the cage. You just wheel them right up to the front of the cage. You introduce the head, and then she's gonna put herself away. So it saves my back for at least another 10 or 20 years. So that way I can still be like a elementary school reptile comedian into my 70s. Boas are always gonna be like boas, and pythons would act more like a corn snake and disappear. I one time thought.
So, of course, Forgotten Friend has its share of ball pythons. We're gonna look at a few babies real quick. Here's a handful of babies Lily is holding, like ball python spaghetti. It's got a bunch of leopard geckos too. See the eye? Neat guys. Big fat tails. This is the world-renowned Gila monster, one of only 2 venomous lizards we have, at least in North America. So I don't want to take a bite from her, but I got her safely behind the legs here. And if she gets a little too fussy, I'll be sure to put her down and re-grip her. But she's pretty chilled out. We actually saw a wild one of these in Arizona, so had to leave that one alone and just make sure it got off the road safely. So this is a real treat because I did not handle or even touch that wild one. Get a close up of the head. So you can see those jaws, man. That put a nice bite on you, and they got to chew the venom into you. Awesome creatures. Got plenty of bearded dragons here. Very popular in the pet trade. Jessie has a few American alligators here. Is this the big guy? Biggest one?
Big one.
This is the biggest one. So I had the luxury to see these guys with the boys down in Florida. Some wild individuals a few months ago. But it's illegal to hold them down there. So again, just like the Gila, it's kind of nice to get my hands on one, get to see the scales up close. It's like a modern day dinosaur. Get the face. Watch your fingers. I think he's pretty good, but I wouldn't want that to clamp on my finger.
If you have a little bit of a smile, you just go to tap them right up here. There you go. Oh, okay, not in the mood, I can see.
Oh, there's some teeth.
There's a little smile.
You want to try holding them? All right, so Lily's now holding the American alligator. Let's see if we can get. I'm gonna get in on those teeth. So it's a small guy. It's not like it's gonna rip your hand off or anything, but you definitely don't want it to clamp and possibly roll with your fingers in its mouth. Nice firm grip right behind the head, and just using the tail like a rudder to kind of guide it if it needs guidance. So I'd like to thank Jessie for the tour of Forgotten Friend. It was an awesome time. It's awesome seeing you all the time. Jessie does some excellent work with these animals, rescuing them and finding them new homes, and he does a lot of outreach programs, and he's got a great YouTube channel if you want to tell him about that.
Yeah, check us out on YouTube, Forgotten Friend Reptile TV. Find us there, Forgotten Friend Reptile TV. Or if you want to schedule a fun show for your school, we do virtual shows and we do in-person school assemblies. So look us up, forgottenfriend.org or Forgotten Friend Reptile TV.
He's a great speaker, so really consider it. So thanks again, Jessie, and this is Bob Ferguson with Fascinature, reminding you to step into the indoors today. Have a good one.